The wedding of Katherine Parr, the last wife of Henry VIII. By 1543, King Henry VIII was nearing the end of his tumultuous matrimonial career. At 52, his health was in steep decline. His once vigorous frame had given way to obesity, his infamous leg ulcers festered, and his fiery temperament had been tempered by age and illness. Yet, despite his physical ailments, Henry retained his desire for companionship, and his gaze turned to Katherine Parr, a 30-year-old widow whose intelligence, composure, and gentle demeanor stood out in the intrigue-laden Tudor court. Katherine Parr was no stranger to marriage. Twice widowed, her first union had been to Edward Burgh, a sickly young man who died after a short and uneventful marriage. Her second husband, John Neville, Lord Latimer, was considerably older and frail, though their union had been more contented. With Latimer's death in 1543, Katherine found herself a wealthy and independent widow, free to choose her next path. Her heart, however, belonged to Sir Thomas Seymour, a dashing courtier and brother to Jane Seymour, Henry's third wife. Henry, who was nothing if not perceptive, sensed the growing attachment between Katherine and Seymour. Unwilling to tolerate a rival for her affections, the king acted decisively. Seymour was sent abroad on diplomatic service, leaving Katherine no choice but to acquiescence to the king's courtship. It was not an offer that she could refuse. Henry's proposal was both a command and a matter of state, and though Katherine may have hoped for a life with Seymour, she resigned herself to royal duty. On the 10th of July 1543, Archbishop Tom Cranmer issued a special license for Henry and Katherine's marriage. The ceremony took place just 2 days later, in private, within the Queen's closet at Hampton Court Palace. Despite the intimate setting, the occasion was marked by joy and celebration. Lady Margaret Douglas, the King's niece, attended as Katherine's chief lady-in-waiting, and the court rejoiced at the union. When asked if he would take Katherine Parr as his wife, Henry responded, "Yeah," with what witnesses described as a joyful countenance. 20 people, including the King's daughters, Lady Mary and Elizabeth, gathered in the Queen's private room at Hampton Court Palace to witness King Henry VIII marry his 6th wife. The room was small, about 10 by 14 metres, making it an intimate setting. We don't know what time the ceremony happened or what Katherine wore, but Richard Watkins, the King's main court clerk, officially recorded the marriage. His record listed all the people present and noted that everyone supported the marriage. During the ceremony, the Bishop of Winchester asked the traditional vows, and the King replied, "I, Henry, take thee, Katherine, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part, and I pledge to you my loyalty." Katherine then said her vows, promising to be loyal and loving in all ways, until death. After they exchanged rings and gifts of gold and silver, the bishop gave a blessing, and the king instructed the clerk to make an official record of the event. The vows were the same ones used at all of Henry's weddings, and are still spoken in Anglican weddings today. There is no record of any celebration after the ceremony, suggesting it was a quiet event. Katherine was declared Queen of England that same day, but there was no grand entry into London or plans for a coronation. For Katherine, the marriage to Henry marked her third and most challenging union. She became not only a wife, but also a queen consort, a stepmother to 3 royal children, and a key figure in the intricate politics of the Tudor court. Katherine Parr quickly proved herself to be exemplary queen. Her charm, tact, and intelligence endeared her to the court and the royal family. She was particularly beloved by Henry's 3 children, Mary, Elizabeth, and Edward. Katherine took an active role in their education, fostering a sense of unity and familial affection that had been long absent from the Tudor household. Her influence on the future Elizabeth I in particular was profound, as she nurtured the princess's intellectual curiosity and encouraged her pursuit of knowledge. At court, Catherine's presence brought a sense of calm and dignity. It was said that every day felt like Sunday under her stewardship, and unlike some of Henry's earlier wives, Catherine avoided the factional infighting that plagued the Tudor court, skillfully navigating the treacherous waters of politics and religion. In 1544, Henry prepared to lead a military campaign in France, a rare undertaking for a monarch of his age and condition. Recognizing Catherine's capabilities, he entrusted her with the role of Regent of England during his absence. This was no ceremonial title. Catherine was given full authority to manage the realm, sign official documents, and oversee the kingdom's defences. Catherine excelled in this role, proving her competence as leader. She maintained order in Henry's absence and ensured the stability of the realm, even as religious tensions and political intrigue threatened to disrupt the peace. Her regency solidified her reputation as a wise and capable queen, earning her the respect of the court and the people. And Catherine's intellect extended beyond governance. She was a devout and learned woman with a keen interest in religious reform. A staunch reporter of the Protestant cause, she engaged in theological discussions and authored several books. Her reformist views, however, put her at odds with conservative factions at court, and at one point her enemies attempted to turn Henry against her by accusing her of heresy. The king, who valued Catherine's loyalty and affection, ultimately dismissed the charges, but the episode served as a reminder of the perils of life of the Tudor court. Henry's marriage to Katherine Parr lasted nearly 4 years, longer than his unions with most of his other wives. During this time, Catherine provided the king with companionship, stability, and care as his health deteriorated. By the time of his death on the 28th of January 1547, she had become his most trusted confidant and steadfast presence in his final years. Henry left Catherine a wealthy widow, and she quickly remarried her former love, Thomas Seymour, just a few months after the king's death. Tragically, their marriage was short-lived, as Catherine died in 1548 following complications from childbirth. Katherine Parr's legacy endures as that of a queen who brought grace, wisdom, and compassion to a turbulent court, and she played a crucial role in uniting Henry's children and preparing them for their future roles in the Tudor dynasty. Her contributions to religious reform and her example of intellectual curiosity left a lasting impact on England's cultural and political landscape. More than any other of Henry's wives, Katherine Parr embodied the ideal of a partner who could provide not only companionship, but also strength and support during the waning years of a powerful but deeply flawed monarch.